Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm about 24 hours overdue to get this video made. Let me tell you, yours truly has been working hard and heavy. I apologize that I did not get this done and uploaded yesterday. Please forgive me. All right, I've got some news. I have been known to all of you as Ray's Coffee and Cards for some time now. But I just did a name change, and it is now going to be known as Ray's Create Cards. Ray's Create Cards is also my email, rayscreatecards@gmail.com. And I wanted to have some continuity. I also wanted to make it easier for people to remember. And I also realize not everybody likes coffee. You know, for you it may be a Coke or herbal tea or just water. So this way here, it's focused on card making, which is what I really want to achieve. So if you did not get an email, you can, I'm going to put a link in the description below where you can go to sign up for my emails if you're not already getting them, or you can just reach out to me directly, rayscreatecards@gmail.com. All right. Those of you who already get my emails were already notified by email about this new set. Actually, there's two of them, but this one has actually gone live. It is called All Together. It is a wonderful suite of new stamping blends. These are all like flesh colored skin tones. They have 5 different sets, or you can buy them all together in this collection. There are dies, there is a stamp set, and there is a designer series paper. And I wanted to kind of show you some of the card samples that their artists had put together just to advertise this, which is awesome. I love this. And you can see here they incorporated the rainbow set that is in our current mini catalog in with this card. And here is a bigger photo where it's showing you exactly what the sentiments and the images are in the set, and the matching dies. There is a die to cut out everything. There is the designer series paper, and there are the stamping blends, and you'll notice that they have numbers by them. Well, you can order them together as a collection, or you can just order like number 1 or number 2. You can order the set of 2 individually. So however you might like to get those. And I should have mine coming pretty soon. Now, this runs from the 1st of February until the 2nd of May. If supplies sell out before then they'll be gone. I will tell you that in the new upcoming annual catalog later this year, the only thing that will carry over are the stamping blends. So if this is really striking a chord with your heart, and this is something you really resonate with and want to make cards with to share with others, definitely don't delay getting that ordered, okay? Now there's another one that is coming up. This is Waves of the Ocean. You're not going to be able to order that until the 1st of March. And then it'll only be from the 1st of March to the 2nd of May. As a demonstrator, I can pre-order it, and I do have mine on the way. I can't wait to get my hands on it and play with it and show it to you. But this is a Waves of the Ocean collection. Okay, here is a small sneak peek. Yes, there is designer series paper. Yes, there are matching dies for the stamp set. Yes, there is bling, and yes, there is foil paper. Now this is going to show you in a little bit more detail. So there's your stamp set with your sentiments. Here is all the matching dies. Then you have this, oh, this DSP, I'm telling you. It's like, oh man, I'm just as excited over this as I am the Mini Marvelous. It's in the Celebration catalog, and then the blue foils, and then the Rhinestone Waves Basic Jewels. So they're gonna have 6 colors. Wait a minute, can I read? 4 each of 6 colors. Coastal Cabana, Night of Navy, Pacific Point. And so, and every little shade in between. Gorgeous. Beautiful. I have already seen some sample cards made with that, and I just can't wait to get my hands on that one. All right, I think I said in a previous video that I had ordered some sets out of the new mini catalog that I wanted to play with that were just stamp sets. And so I was finally able to get my hands on the More Love. It is just one stamp, that's it. But it's so beautiful. It's elegant, it's simple, just right up my alley. There's no dyes or anything that you can order to go with that. So I thought what we might do is do some heat embossing tonight. You know, I think some of us who have been around for a while, and we've more than gotten our feet wet in the world of card making, maybe heat embossing is old hat to some of us, but not everybody knows what heat embossing is or how to do it. And so I thought we would use this stamp and do some heat embossing. Now, I actually have a note card. Stampin' Up! Sells note card packs, and my poor little pack is just almost gone. You can get it in the very vanilla, and you can get it in the basic white. You can see mine says Whisper White. I did have just a few of those left, and I thought, you know, I'm just gonna go ahead and use these up. So you get you get the basic white note cards and envelopes, and you get a total of 20 each. They're not expensive. They're a wonderful value. And guess what? This stamp fits perfectly even on the smaller note card. So the note cards, when you open it up, if you measure it out, it's 7 inches long by 5 inches wide, and it's scored at 3.5 inches. So if you wanted to make your own, you could, but I will tell you, when you start cutting up your own cardstock for the note card dimensions, you're gonna probably waste more cardstock and end up spending more money than if you had just gone ahead and bought the note cards and envelopes from Stampin' Up!, okay? I'm just about out of my Very Vanilla, and I have ordered some. I had put in an order earlier this week, and I hope to have them pretty soon. All right, so let me give a couple of tips as we go through this. And this first tip is not one that I ever see anybody say in their heat embossing videos, ever. Wash your hands. Right before you get ready to do heat embossing, wash your hands. I don't care if it's only been 30 minutes ago. You know, we touch a lot of things, come in contact with a lot of things without really realizing it, you know, just going through our homes. So, and most especially if you just finished eating, wash your hands. You don't want any oils on your hands at all to transfer to your cardstock. Now, yes, we have, as Stampin' Up! No longer sells this, but these are available out on the internet. Several different companies sell them. And to be very honest, the next time I put in an order for some anti-static powder for heat embossing, I think I'm going to follow the advice Jennifer McGuire has put out on her videos and order it from Rabbit Hole Design. She gave them a stellar review on their anti-static powder. And what this is, it is simply a powder that once you have put it down on your cardstock, and you don't have to go heavy with it, but where you're going to be embossing, you want to put a good layer. And what that does is that takes out the static electricity, so that when you get ready to apply the actual embossing powder, it's not going to stick everywhere else. You only want it to stick to your stamped image, all right? Obviously, I did not have my magnet in place because my cardstock moved. Let me move that back up into the corner. Now, maybe that'll keep it from moving. And Versamark is probably the best known watermark ink. There are other companies with other brands, but I'm going to tell you, the Versamark, you can't go wrong with it. And yes, you can get that through Stampin' Up. Sure can. And Stampin' Up carries it for a reason too. I just think it is far superior to the other watermark inks. And it's called watermark ink because, and it's a sticky ink. It's kind of sticky. I don't know if you could hear that. But it's watermark because it leaves just a faint outline. And when it dries, it's flat and it's smooth. So I'm just going to give that a good back rub. Make sure I get a good impression. There we go. And I know you probably cannot see it on camera. This stuff takes a few minutes to dry, so you don't have to be in a panic to, I don't know if you can see a little bit of it showing right there, maybe. Okay, so next thing you want to do is put the lid on your Versamark. You get embossing powder in that sticky ink, you're not going to get it back out. All right, let me move this for just a minute. Whoops, my scratch paper. There we go. I reuse my scratch paper, guys. So, like, you know, if I have anything that was like mimeographed or printed on a printer and I don't need it anymore, I don't toss it in the trash. I go ahead and use it for my stamping scratch paper. Okay, we're going to use some gold embossing powder. And kind of get this down here where I can get a spoonful. I like using it in Tupperware containers, and you will find other demonstrators do that too. I do it because my middle name is actually Messy Marvin, and I need all the help I can get. I really do. Uh-oh. I really hope I got that well with the ink. Oh, I didn't. Do you see that? Do you see that? Oops. All right, scratch that. We're gonna do it again because we're gonna do it right. Oopsie, sorry about that. I really thought I had that inked up well. And I do have another note card here. Come on, move. These are really tough magnets. And in every embossing episode I've ever seen, they all do warn you, with good reason, to make sure those magnets don't get together. You have two of them. They're on the back. They have a place where they store away from each other. Now let's try this again. And because I have this in the Stamparatus, I really should have done it a second time, right? It's almost kind of like the measure twice, cut once. Well, let's ink it up twice. Let's go one more time, because it is really hard to see on there. If it was maybe a dark cardstock, it would show up better than the white, but one more time. And that's the beauty of this, because you know you're going to go right back down in the exact same place you were before. Let's see what we have here. Okay. with there being 2 layers on there. I don't know if you can see that or not. Maybe a little bit, maybe. All right, I'm gonna put my lid on my Versamark because I know better than not to. All right. I don't know, I probably have 2 or 3 containers of embossing powder in my little thing here. I just know that this is so much easier for me to deal with. Oh, you know what? In going to redo this, I'm just gonna go with the flow on this one. I really am. I forgot to use the embossing buddy. I'm over here trying to blow the other pieces that are sticking to it. But I did wash my hands right before coming in here to do this video. Like, I went from the hall bathroom straight in here, and I'm telling you guys, it'll make a difference. If you've ever gone to do heat embossing and you've used your anti-static powder and you've done everything you know to do and you're still getting a whole lot of stray flakes, I'm telling you, it's because you did not wash your hands first. So don't forget to do that. That's going to be a little bit light right there, but that's okay. Like I said, we're going to go ahead and go with it for the sake of the video. I'm not going to let it get me down. I'm going to turn on my heat gun. This is a heat tool, Stampin' Up! Sales. 2 heat settings, one for just drying. Say you did some watercoloring and you're impatient for it to dry, you can put it on number 1. Number 2 is that higher heat for the heat embossing on the embossing powders. You'll also notice that it has this little heat-proof cone around it to help direct that air exactly where you need it to go. It's kind of like point and shoot, right? And you've also got a wonderful little stand right here, so when you get done, you can just sit it down and that hot gun is not going to be on your surface anywhere. You're not going to have any damage. I have used this thing and used this thing and used this thing in the last 4 years, and I've never had any damage, any issues out of it. It heats up very quickly. It really doesn't take long, just a few seconds, start getting up to temp. And I'm going to try to hold this so that you can actually see it change when the heat gets to it. It should be about ready. Okay. So if you've never done this, guys, it's fascinating, more so in real life. I don't know, I hope you can see this starting to change. It takes on a shiny gold appearance in direct contrast to that dull, powdery finish of the raw powder. I'm gonna turn this in my hands. Try to tilt this where you're going to be able to see when it changes. It doesn't take a whole lot, because once this gun gets up to temperature, it goes real fast. And so then when you turn off your gun and put it to the side, you want to really examine and look for any dull, powdery places. Because when I was doing one earlier, and I'll show you the one I did earlier toward the end of the video, there was like a big clump right in here that at the leaves on the flowers that had not set. Fortunately, I found it and I was able to get that set. So, okay. I've seen worse. I've seen better. We had this flattened out in the Stamparatus. I would like try to make that lay a little flatter, and I'm just kind of making sure it's good and cool. you can damage a fresh heat embossed piece by playing with it too soon. So there we go. There we go. Now we're going to put this to the side, and then we're going to come back and revisit that. All right. I'm going to put up my gold embossing powder, and I also have out some copper embossing powder. Make sure I've got my lid on here good. I know me. All right, we're sealed. Now we're going to get out the copper embossing powder. And of course, y'all can see my fancy spoons here, right? So I do. I'm getting kind of low. It's about time to get some more. But it's amazing how long this will last you. You're really not using that much. Okay, we are going to come in with a very vanilla note card, because I just want you to see how you can get different looks with this stamp set. And, you know, I could have done the traditional thing, you know, with trying to stamp it and maybe using some cute little DSP or DSP with hearts behind it. You know, we got Valentine's Day right around the corner. Why couldn't you use this? The world needs more love notes. It absolutely does. And that would be perfect for one of your children, your husband, a next door neighbor, a good friend at work. I mean, it's just, and I love this. It is just simply elegant. Okay, make sure I'm up in the corner. And I'm going to do that one more time. After the last time, let's try to make sure this one is complete like it should be. And I'm going to press a little harder right there. Actually, my husband made me this wonderful, handy dandy, I think we've decided to call his little thing Dillard's Roundabout. We've already sold a couple of them to a couple of ladies that are here locally, but if you have any kind of weakness in your hands or in your arms, or maybe you have arthritis and it's painful for you to do that pressing when you're using Stamparatus, man, this takes all the hard work out of it. It really does. This is awesome. All right. It looks to me like it's stamped pretty well, but we'll find out when we hit it with the powder, right? I've already got my lid over my Versamark. And let's see what happens here. I love copper on vanilla, gold on vanilla, black on vanilla. I have to admit, yours truly does not have any black embossing powder. Well, I do. Stamping Up once upon a time sold some black, was it called Sparkly? And I swear on my time, if I didn't forget to use the Embossing Buddy, as it was called, the anti-static powder, I forgot to use that again, but it's okay. Onward and upward. But I do think I got better coverage right there. Kind of blowing it off screen. And I kind of blew a little hard, I think. But that doesn't look too bad. All right, let's get this out of the way. I'll get my lid back on there. Let's get that put back together. And since I just used the heat gun, it won't take it as long to warm up this time. I'm caught up on something. Oh, here we go. All right. I'm trying to hold it down in a way so that it's not blasting right in your ear, okay? And it does get like super, super hot. So what I would recommend, especially until you get used to heat embossing and you've done it a few times, take you a pair of craft tweezers, what we call reverse tweezers. You know, it holds on to your project until you squeeze it. I mean, it's totally reversed from the way we traditionally use our tweezers. They're wonderful once you get used to it, and it doesn't take long at all. If you don't have that, use a clothespin. A clothespin works. Anything that you can use that will help hold that away from you so that you don't get burned. You absolutely could get burned, like really bad burn. This thing gets hot. You see the shimmer and the shine? Can you tell where I've applied the heat and where I haven't? There we go. And all that's melting. It's starting to shine. I have no idea how much of this you're going to be able to see. Probably not a whole lot. But it is so addictive. If you ever get set up to do heat embossing yourself, you're just going to have such a good time with it. All right. And again, we're going to let that cool off. And I'm going to set it to the side. Now, there is nothing wrong with leaving it just like that. The simple, elegant look. However, I told you we were not quite done, and we're not. Okay, I'm going to lay my cardstock right there. Actually, I'm going to make it lay flat. And I'm looking at I see maybe the lighting. Do I have all that done? That doesn't look real right there, just in that one spot. Everything else does but that. I'm gonna hit that one more time. It could just be my eyes, but right at the end of the R and going up into the L looks a little dull. Like it started to melt and didn't quite get there all the way. I'm just going to hit that and make real sure. I didn't see that a minute ago. Oh, there we go. It did need just a titch more. All right. So, just because this has been heat embossed does not mean that you can't still play with it. And so I thought I would come in. I don't know how this is going to work. I did not pre-do one, not like this. I did pre-do one. I'll just go ahead and show it to you. And I use Balmy Blue, okay? And this is on the basic white regular cardstock. I stamped it, and I don't know if you can tell because I was very careful in how I applied the Balmy Blue. I just put a bare hint of it just to bring that out just a little bit more. But what I wanted to do was to maybe try to do a rainbow effect with 2 or 3 different colors. And it's all y'all's fault for getting me into all this ink blending, because I have had people tell me that they, you know, would really like to get into more ink blending. And so I am trying really hard to accommodate that. I have got, I didn't even tell you the colors, did I? So I have Mango Melody, and I have Melon Mambo, Mango, Melon, I'm getting hungry, and Bermuda Bay. So we're going to see about doing just a little bit of ink blending. Now, when you're blending, if you've got your finger or if you've got your hand down here real close to the head, you're going to apply more pressure and you're going to apply more ink at one time, right? So if you're wanting to go for a real light pastel look, hold it way back here. You're not going to be forcing as much onto the bristles, and you're going to have a lighter touch and a lighter application. Also, double check. If you take off too much, hey, you can go right back and get some more, but double check. Make sure when you get ready to go to your paper that it's not going to be any darker than you want it to be. So I'm just barely holding on to this brush. If I didn't have the grip I have on it, I would actually drop it. And so I'm not even worried if I get it up there. This is a handmade card, right? Not Hallmark, thank goodness. And so I'm just putting a little bit of that down. Don't know how well you can see that on camera. Okay. And let's go with Bermuda Bay. All right, I'm going to put that brush there with that one. And I was playing earlier and I've just about used all my brushes. Oh, and yours truly, I do have Stampin' Up! Brushes coming. I'm so excited. It's like, oh yeah, I can dig it. That's a really intense color, so I'm taking off actually quite a bit of that. Let me look down here and say, okay, that's better. Maybe it's a little light. I'm just lightly raking. I'm not like going into the ink pad. I'm just lightly raking that. Let's see what we can do here with some Bermuda Bay. Because Bermuda Bay is more blue, any place where it blends up into the yellow, and you actually want it to. You want to overlap your colors when you're doing ink blending like this. It's going to make a little bit of a green, which is going to be so pretty. And I'm not trying to do the whole thing, just pretty much where it's at with the embossing. Okay. Well, I'm running out of brushes. Oh, yeah. Okay, Mellow Mambo. Come here. And again, I'm just kind of flicking it over. I'm not pressing down real hard. It may look like it on camera sometimes, but I promise you I'm not. That's also really intense. And I think maybe I'm good to go. And I'm just barely touching. Yet, yes, we want to put our finger out there, but I'm just barely touching. I'm not really applying pressure. I'm just letting the brush contact the paper. And I want to kind of go up into that Bermuda Bay a little bit and kind of blend that out. And I'm going to take and come down. All right, let's see how this looks. So what do you think? How does that look? Does that look okay? Can you tell? Do you see that? I hope so. All right, now, there was one that I did earlier today, and I'm going to show it to you just real quick. Then there's one other thing I want to do. Again, people who are new to card making, you know, they've got a ways to go in their journey of learning. And there may be a billion gazillion videos out there on YouTube showing people how to heat emboss, etc., etc. But if the people who are needing to learn don't run across those videos, so with that in mind, we are going to also use embossing folders, the other way to emboss, okay? All right, so here was one that I did earlier today. I was just kind of playing with it. It was a retired set. It had a small splatter stamp, and I put that and did the heat embossing in gold on the Night of Navy background, and then I took a layer of the balmy blue, did the heat embossing in the gold, and then I took, you may not have this, you may not recognize how I was able to do that, but this punch, and it's in our annual catalog, and Stampin' Up! Has actually carried it for a while, thank goodness. It's called the Detailed Trio Punch. It's called that because there are 3 corners, and all 3 corners do something a little bit different. Do I have some scrap paper here? I don't, but that's okay. So if you have this punch, or if you think you might like to have this punch, I'm going to show you how easy it is. You have guides on each side of the rounded corners, okay? That's your guide for where your paper goes in. You see how my paper is up against that one, and it's up against that one, so it guides you. And as soon as you know your cardstock is lined up snugly, just press. It's not hard, okay? This one, let's say you're doing a project and you need a hole to put a ribbon through, then you can certainly do that. Now this one is going to be a little bit wider and bigger, and there is your hole for your ribbon. Beautiful, nice finish. And then you have what's called a corner rounder, and I don't use this as much as I should, but it simply kind of gives you a finished look to an envelope, to a card. Yep. But this thing is worth its weight in gold. And it's not expensive. And it is still available. Now, whether or not it's going to carry over again into next year's catalog is anybody's guess. I have no idea. Take my little scraps and put them in the trash. All right, guys. We are going to get out a couple of embossing folders, and I have chosen to use the Painted Textured 3D and the Ornate Floral 3D embossing folder. I'm going to move some of my mess out of the way. Some of these things. I have my Stampin' my daubers out, but elected not to use those. Okay, let's get out the big boss. And I don't have him prepped for this, so let's get him prepped for this. Okay. We are going to have our platform. As you have heard me tell you before, I can't think of any technique, whether it's die cutting, using an embossing folder, anything that you're going to do that you're not going to use that platform. You have to have that. Now, 3D embossing folders, what are they? Well, they are literally a folder. They are a plastic folder, and if it is a really thick one, chances are it's called 3D, because it's going to make such a deeper impression than maybe some of the traditional embossing folders we used to have the last few years. So 3D embossing folders are all the rage. This one is an annual catalog. It is called the Ornate Floral 3D embossing folder. Do I have a card base? Okay. I hadn't planned on it. Oh, yes I do. Here we go. So I have a card base. This is a regular card base out of basic white. It's their traditional 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. So Stampin' Up! Tells you, for good reason, that when you're using these embossing folders, when you go into the machine with it, you want to go with the folded side first. This will help prevent any damage. So we're going to open this up, and we're going to insert our cardstock right up to, now this particular design, because it's just full of small flowers, the chances of it looking crooked if you don't get it perfectly lined up is minuscule. You know what I'm going to do? Hang on a minute, because we're going to use 2 embossing folders, and I need a piece of cardstock for each folder, and yours truly didn't think that all the way through, so we're going to cut it. All right, now I have my 2 pieces. All right, I'm just going to lay this in here like so. I'm going to lay that on my platform, and because it is 3D, you need the specialty plate, which is number 4, and it is a gray one. And I don't think it comes with a stamping, cut, and emboss machine. Let me look that up. Let's just see if it comes with it. I know you get your platform, and you get your cutting plates, and you get your die cut adapter. Okay, page 152. You know, sometimes I get confused with how it was when we had the Big Shot. Okay. Okay, let me read on the actual machine. Okay, I don't think it does. The Stamping Up Cut and Emboss machine, it says it includes all plates needed to get started. But then on the specialty plate, use it with 3D embossing folders for best results. The specialty plate is not needed with standard embossing folders, and they're right. If you have a regular thinner embossing folder, a cutting plate on the bottom, a cutting plate on top is probably all you need. But almost everything is 3D now, and so yes, you need a piece of cardboard there. Guys, I've been working for hours and hours and hours in my room this week. Cleaning up, cleaning out, and look what I did. I've got my folder not completely covered. Let's try this again. Okay, this is not hard. It looks kind of hard, but that's because I'm trying to keep my machine from moving around because it's on this paper and it's wanting to slide. It's not hard. I promise, I wouldn't lie. All right, let's see what we have here. Let me take this out. There we go. That is embossing. Isn't that pretty? It's beautiful. And there are things you can do even after you've embossed, especially where it's raised right here. And I never do this because I don't feel a need. You can take your cardstock and you can lightly mist it with water before you run it through, and it will emboss even deeper because that water kind of relaxes the fibers in the paper, and so it really makes more of an impression. All right, let's do the painted texture. Again, it's 3D, but embossing folders are awesome. I've got some that have been retired for a long time. I've got some that I bought when I first started getting into this about 4 years ago, and I'm still using them, and they're still like new. Now, one pass is enough, but if you're not sure, just do it again. All right, let's see what we have here. Isn't that beautiful? I love this. I love that. That is awesome. Well, guys, I know that you deserved a better video than what I gave you, and I do apologize. You don't know how much yours truly has been stressing to get this done and get this uploaded for you. If anything, it really bothers me if I'm not consistent. And one more time, I failed on being consistent because I missed getting a video up on Friday, and I do apologize for that. Do remember, Ray's Coffee and Cards is gone, and we are now Ray's Create Cards. And I hope that makes it easier for everybody to remember. So let's just kind of do a quick recap here. We have that one. If I stand it up, nope, then you can't see it. We have the very vanilla one with the copper. We have the one I had done prior to the video with a little bit of balmy blue in the background. Not much, just a little. And we have this one that we just did in the gold, using the Mango Melody, the Bermuda Bay, and Melon Mambo, and yes, Mango Melody on that. Don't know what you think about that. And of course, I could have striped it, you know, from left to right or right to left. Yours truly just kind of tends to want to do the up and down. But you do you, and I hope this has helped some of you maybe learn a little bit. I've got something already in mind for next week's video, and I will do my very, very best to have it for you on Friday. In the meantime, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for being here. If you like the video, please give me a thumbs up. If you want to be notified when I upload a video, please hit that subscribe button. Send me an email at rayscreatecards@gmail.com, or follow the link in the description below, and I will have a link to everything I used in this video in the description below. Anything that you see that you liked, if you want to purchase it, I will have that link available for you. I'll make it as easy for you as I can. Anyway, guys, have a great night. God bless, and I will talk to you later. Bye.